We're live. Here we go. Cool. Welcome back. This is episode 13. So we were just chatting off camera about this feels like a very Monday, Tuesday. And I think it's because this is episode 13. It's cursed. It's a cursed episode. So once again, I'm joined by the wonderful Charlie Beeston from CB Nutrition. There he is, sounding enthusiastic as ever. He promises me he's not hungover.
I feel it, but I'm not.
I believe him.
Yeah.
So, given that we're on episode 13, I figured it was kind of elaborate a little more on what we're sort of talking about in the last few episodes, but also I think it's quite topical to kind of address the kind of talk around gyms reopening and the announcement that was given last night and that kind of thing. And probably tap a little bit more into kind of what you can be doing now in prep for when things open. I think that might be quite cool. And then just general nonsense, chitter-chatter around general nonsense. I feel like that's a good way to start. Maybe I'll change the name of the podcast to General Nonsense. We can make a character called General Nonsense, like a little military.
One of my favourite, members of the armed forces.
Yeah, General Nonsense. I love him. He's great. So yeah. Oh, God, that's hot. I just had a sip of coffee that I made about 3 seconds ago, and it's really hot. I'll put that there for a minute. So let's tackle straight into that then, shall we? Not the coffee, the gym opening thing.
Yeah.
So as it stands at the minute, from what I can gather from flicking through the relatively small document that is the roadmap out, it's massive. It's like 60 pages.
Yeah.
It's quite a thing. It's quite a map, quite concise. It's like, you remember when you first started driving and there wasn't sat-nav and you had AA route map, like route planner?
Yeah.
Remember that? It's a bit like one of those, but like we're travelling a long way.
Yeah.
14th of April, 12th of April, 14th of April, something of April is the earliest day the gyms can open. So what I fear people are going to take that to mean is, yeah, gyms are open on this date. But what the government have done is they've been shrewd and they've caveated that with at the earliest. So I think basically what that means is if you lot aren't dickheads, we'll crack the gyms open on this date.
Yeah. There's 4 criteria, isn't there, or something? That it's got to hit each day for them to do the next phase. Yeah.
So I think they've been quite clever in what they've done in the sense that there's a 5-week review after each point. So that's 4 weeks to review the data and a week to get people prepped. I think it's quite sensible, which I didn't think I'd say through this whole thing, but there's actually a sensible move done.
I know, yeah. I think that's taken everyone by surprise.
Yes. Like, wait, it's taken us a year, but we did something that actually might work. Who'd have thunk it?
But then people aren't sensible with it, and that's why they have to go like a 60-page document rather than just...
Yeah.
Just get like people on Facebook like, oh yeah, you said all this, but what about my left-footed pigeon that's into horticulture? Can that go outside on a Tuesday? And you're just like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, you know what the rules are, roughly. Just stay at home.
Yeah.
You'll be like, what about this? And you're like, oh, shut up.
There's so much minutiae. And like the thing, so how it affects like my gym opening is gyms are allowed to, let's assume that those dates stay concrete. And let's say it's the 14th of April. I think I've got that right. But let's just say 14th for the sake of argument. And it all goes through and the 14th of April, gyms open. You're still not allowed to take classes. So you can't do structured indoor group classes and sports and stuff like that. So in terms of my gym, it's kind of a weird one because I can open up as a gym, but I can't coach classes. Unless it's kids classes. Kids sports can go ahead. So that's cool. So I can still coach the kids sessions, but I can't coach the senior sessions. It's an organised thing. But I can still have people in the gym training, provided I'm not doing it as an organised class. Now, people kind of look at that and go, well, what's the difference? And like, well, in my place, there probably isn't that much of a difference. But when you look at your David Lloyds and your Pure gyms, if you're allowed into the gym but not the studio for a class, it's quite a big difference.
Yeah, my Zumba class won't go ahead, for example.
Yeah, exactly that. So I think it's just a case of kind of numbers in a smaller room.
Yeah.
And then it's a case of kind of just blanketing it across. Because I could argue that as an exception. Yeah, but what about my place? I should be able to coach because the open gym sessions are the same as coach sessions. They're probably not. And also, you know, my missus made a point on it this morning. You know, if you're in a room full of people that you get along with and you train with regularly, you're more likely to drop your guard. Whereas if you train with people that you don't necessarily train with all the time, you're more likely to keep that guard up a little bit and stay in your platform and do your bits and pieces there. So the rules are in place for a reason, and I really don't see that much grey. It's not that ambiguous at all. I think it's pretty damn clear.
Yeah.
However, we are the British public and we are stubborn as assholes, and people will do their utmost to find rules and bends around it. And I'm just going to throw it out there and say, please don't fucking do that. Please don't do that. Like, By the time April comes around, we've been in this for over a year. We've got this far. Like, don't be a dick. Like, we know the route out. Let's just stick with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think the two words I hate the most during this lockdown, apart from like COVID-19 or locking down, are what about? The amount of people that will say, oh, what about, both in terms of, oh, what about me? Can I do this? Or what about that person? Can they be in my bubble? But also like oh, what about this group? Because everyone's clapping NHS workers who are doing a fantastic job. And like some people just feel the desperate need to get validated by everyone and say, oh, what about, well, what about the litter pickers though? They've had to work through the whole thing. And what about this? You're just like, well, just give yourself a pat on the back and fucking move on.
Well done. I weirdly, on a slightly related but unrelated topic, I had this chat about someone the other day. There's someone that came out. So I'm currently set up next to my local village hall because COVID rules, so I can do one-to-one training outside in public, which is fine. I don't understand the rules, but that's the rule, so I'm doing it because I'm not an asshole. And I was chatting to the guy that turned up. And also, I'm not an asshole depending on who you talk to.
I was going to disagree.
Some people will argue the toss with that, probably yourself included. Yeah. Definitely my missus, she'll argue the toss with that. But yeah. But anyways, I was chatting to this guy, and he was saying that someone came in for like a meeting at work for a pay review, and he wanted more pay for basically doing his job. And they kind of went, well, I'm not going to, like, no. the deal is you do your hours and we pay you for it. That's the deal. So there's that kind of, everyone wants to be fucking special and rewarded for something, and all you're doing is the bare minimum. Like, that's not how this works.
No.
So yeah, that's a big thing. That's a real big thing.
I just don't, personally, my own worth doesn't come from recognition from the wider British public.
No.
But for some people it seems to, where like everyone has to be thinking, oh, isn't it hard for them? Which for some people it is hard for them.
Yeah.
But even if it was hard for me, which it isn't particularly, so I'm not saying it for me, I don't think I'd seek validation from everyone for the job I was doing.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
maybe that's
I had it that someone said to me the other day, and this is, I feel like saying this makes me feel a little bit grubby, because it's I don't do what I do for reward, right? And there's that thing, and obviously I'm set up at the Memorial Hall down the road from me, and members are welcome to book in time, come down and train. So they're on the thing, they can play with the kit that's there. There's a squat rack, bars, there's plates, there's all sorts of other bits and pieces. I'll bring it all along with me and you can train there. And then when you go, I'll clean it all down, then the next person comes in and does the same thing. So we're sticking, your outdoor exercise just happens to be outdoors with stuff and with a personal trainer. So that. And I was out the other week when it was about -47, I think it was. Like, give or take a degree or two. It was pretty.
Yeah,
it was
that
pretty
was Fahrenheit as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Fahrenheit. Yeah, it was like, I mean, it was one of those, you know, you throw an egg in the air and it comes down frozen. It's one of those. You throw egg, probably water, more specifically. I'm gonna throw eggs. Fuck it. You throw an egg in the air and it comes down frozen. One of those. It was cold. It was cold. And you know, people come from, oh, you shouldn't be. Oh, bless you for being out here. You know, you really going above and beyond. So I don't think I am. I'm doing the bare minimum to keep people moving, and this just happens to be what that looks like. That I wasn't complaining. People were coming bringing me coffee, which was amazing. So I wasn't complaining. But there's that, and like, it's just all I'm doing is the absolute minimum that I can do, given the rules and the circumstances. And I'm not going, yeah, but what about? I'm just sticking to the rules, and that's what's happened.
Yeah.
But I feel like everyone's stuck to the rules. Everyone who has stuck to the rules feels like they've done something amazing. Like, you haven't. You've just done what you've been asked to do.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know. But yeah, so I feel like we're on the way out of that. Although, interestingly, and like this will be a topic that you'd be much better off talking about than me, because you're much better at the behavioural stuff. But I feel like coming out of this, when you start looking at, I think it was like 20-something of June or July, whatever it was, like the day that they're saying, like, we want this to be over by...
Yeah, like 21st of June, is it?
Is it the 1st of June? Something like 21st of June, yeah.
Let's
21st of June. Let's say that for the sake of argument. I think you're right. But 21st of June, we're off, and they go, cool, go, be free, off into the wild. My first move isn't going to be book a flight with 300 other people, or go to a club with 300 other people, or like, that's not my thing. Like, I feel like we've kind of been smashed into this whole environment for the last year where no one's been allowed to see anyone. And your neighbours are grassing you up because you had an electrician over to do some work and they shouldn't have been in your house because it was non-essential. And everyone's a little bit edgy and wary of everybody else, and all of a sudden they're going to go, all right, off you go. And like, I think the coming out of that's going to be a really interesting, really interesting vibe, for want of a better way of putting it. It'd be really interesting to see how people react to that. And there's going to be people like myself who are quite cautious. So I'll go out and awesome, like the gym will be open, people can mix and we can do all that sort of stuff, and that's wicked. Hopefully by then most people will have the vaccine, so that's a really cool like tick in the box as well. So I'm less cautious around there now then. But then you've got the other people that are going to be straight down the pub or down clubs or on planes and doing whatever they're doing. It's a mad comparison to make in people's heads. And that kind of behavioural change that comes out at the end of it. It's like, I don't know what to predict on that. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure I know what people are going to do. I think it probably comes down to what people's priorities are, maybe a little bit, and what were the things that people miss the most. And I think, I don't care if people go to the pub or the club straight out, that's their choice. But I just think that, like, when you've not been able to see your family and stuff for a year, it's a strange one where the first thing you're thinking of is pub or club. Like, my first thought was, it'd be nice to have a few beers in the sun, but it was generally in the context of some sort of family party, barbecue type situation. It wasn't, nothing about me was thinking I'm going to go on holiday this year, because I didn't think I would. Yeah, it's a strange one. It'd be interesting to see what people do. Gyms were more exciting for me, because it's closer, and I don't know, maybe I'm feeling the effects of not training, because I don't home train. It's not me. Like, the Davina McCall thing, not the one for me, I'm afraid.
Not fancy with Joe Wicks, no?
No, there are many things I'd rather fancy than Joe Wicks, to be honest. I'd rather be Boris's personal sweat collector than train with Joe Wicks, to be honest. So,
oh man, I bet Boris is proper sweaty as well when he trains.
He told me when I asked him,
Perfect.
Yeah.
On that last call.
Yeah,
On the call we had, that apparently I've got a direct line in with Boris, because everyone keeps asking me when the gyms are opening again before the announcements. I'm like, well, I checked in this morning.
Yeah.
Like, personal sweat collector. That's the title. You'd want some serious pay for that, wouldn't you? Jesus Christ.
You'd think so, yeah. But also, having had a look at the rest of his cabinet, you get away with whatever you want, really.
Pretty much,
You got license you got key to the country.
Pretty much.
There are pros and cons, but I was more excited about gyms than most other things. And not because I'm like a fucking strength athlete or gym addict. I just actually quite miss training a little bit. Just like that hour of solitude, really. Yeah.
No, I totally get that. And I feel like I'm excited for gyms opening for multiple reasons. One, because I own one. I'd really like to have it open again. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's quite a lot of just sad things sitting lonely in there at the minute. Like squat racks. I never knew a squat rack could look sad, but you know, when it's just on its own in the middle of a gym, it's really quite sad. So I'd like to go and cheer my equipment up again. That'd be nice. And like have people in there throwing weights around and making noise and music playing and all that kind of stuff I'm excited for. And then on top of that, it's ignoring the fact that I'm a business owner with my own gym. It's just going to that environment makes me happy. When people are there and they're smashing weights around, laughing and joking with their friends, and banter flying around all over the place, and people feel good in a gym. So being around that just makes you feel better. So that kind of environment I've missed. So I fully agree with you. Like, I'm looking forward to the gyms more so than the pubs. And from a personal note, like come that point, my daughter's going to be nearly 1. So we're kind of on the end of that, planning like family and friends and, you know, what will be godparents. We've got to get her christened and that sort of stuff. We're planning those sort of events, you know, so that's really exciting for me. And that, you know, I can have my family over to see my daughter, who haven't seen her since. When did we go into this? Like December?
Yeah.
Or earlier. You know, like that I'm quite excited for. You know, people come see them. Like, I've got family sort of quite local, but then further afield, I've got family down in like Hastings. I've got family up in Lincoln. So people can like travel around and actually see people. So that's really cool. So my first thought wasn't club, that sort of thing.
You're a bit old for club, if we're honest.
Oh, hold on a minute.
Oh, mate, unless it's bingo, you need to pack it in.
Still a club, mate. Still a club.
Yeah, right? Fair enough. Yeah. Bowls club, maybe.
Bowls, yes. So my cousin used to run a shop that sold bowls equipment in Sunderland, and I remember going there as a kid, and we used to sit there while he was working before we went home at the end of the day, and it was horrific.
Yeah.
It was horrendous. I could never get my head around the fact that the balls weren't balls. They're like flat on one bit.
Yeah.
And like that just makes it harder to throw them down the thing. I don't get it. You don't throw them, bowl them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crap. I don't understand it. But yeah, so like people's priorities are weird, and like what people want to get done and what they're gonna do and who they're gonna see and that sort of stuff. It's interesting. It's interesting. If you're listening to this, or you're watching this, or you're replaying a thing, get in touch. Like, what's your first thing when we're allowed out to play again? Like, be that gyms or pubs or clubs or seeing your family, wherever it may be. Like, what are you up to? Like, what's your first port of call? I'm genuinely interested. I want to know what your call is. If like me, you're turning. I'm 33 in a week. It's my birthday in 1st of March. There you go. I'll set up a PO box so people can send me presents. I'll do that. But like, if you're like me and you're the ripe old age of 33 and you're basically going to settle down for a nice crochet blanket that you're making, maybe a couple of Horlicks, watch an episode of Bargain Hunt, that sort of thing. But if you're Charlie's age, where you're about 19 and you're just going out sniffing coke off a stripper's ass and that sort of stuff, like, what's your port of call? Where are you going with this? Let us know. Genuinely interested.
Yeah.
Caveat: Charlie doesn't sniff coke off strippers' asses.
Not without permission.
Pints of double cream. That's what he does.
What, sniffing them?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
I wonder if that affects like diabetes risk more than ingestion.
Ooh, I don't know.
It's an interesting point, actually. Should we do some education? So, diabetes occurs because of something called insulin resistance. So, your body's not that able to shift glucose out of your bloodstream. And now everyone thinks because carbohydrates increase insulin, that carbohydrates cause diabetes. But we actually know that 1 week of a very high-fat, overfed diet can cause insulin resistance similar to someone with prediabetes. And there's even research showing that 1 day of high-fat overfeeding, so they gave participants about 80% more than their maintenance calories. So like you're eating 180% of what you actually need. And then of that, 70% of it was fat, something like those numbers. And they actually got insulin resistance in a similar way that you do in diabetic people after 1 day of massive overeating. So I imagine if I snorted double cream, coming back to the original point, I wonder if I could induce some sort of pre-diabetes in myself.
I mean, so firstly, that is really interesting. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that study. So thank you for that. That's awesome.
Right. We're here to educate, after all.
Yeah, we're here to educate. And so far, all we've done is spent, I don't know, 10 minutes talking.
I've collected Boris's sweat.
Utter drivel.
Yeah.
We've done really well. I burnt my tongue on coffee.
Yeah.
We've done well. We've done really well.
Yeah.
If you snort cream, I feel like this is going to be. I feel like Scott's going to listen to this while he's training, and he's going to clip this bit out and say, "Actually, this podcast is normally quite good." But then here's us talking about snorting double cream. Hi, Scott. By the way, I'm sure you're going to be listening to this. I apologise for the terrible content. We'll move on in a minute. I don't apologise. If you snort double cream, would that go to the same place? Like, if you snort a thing, would that end up in your lungs? Because you're breathing it, right? It kind of ends up through your sinuses and down, or would that go? Genuinely, how would that work?
No, it doesn't go through the lungs. It doesn't go through the lungs, would it?
It definitely wouldn't, would it? It would end up through digestion.
Yeah.
You're not breathing it. It's like a.
I don't know.
Answers on a postcard. If you're,
it's so thick you wouldn't be able to do it. You'd like cough it and throw it back.
You just get rid of it. You throw it back up again. Like, if you're like an ears, nose, and throat specialist, like, let us know. There we go. Another one.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are you doing when lockdown ends? And can you inhale double cream? Yeah. They're the answers I want answered this week. There you go. Anyway, moving on. So I was on a call last night, which is a thing. I'm going to start this as if we haven't spoke nonsense for the last 15 minutes. I was invited to be a guest speaker on a Zoom call for female personal trainers. So a friend of mine, Joe, runs a group called Female Personal Trainers, and surprisingly enough, it's a group full of female personal trainers.
That would make sense.
The clue's in the title.
Yeah.
But they're a really cool little mob, and there's sort of newly qualified, there's very experienced in there, and there's a real mixture of people. Anyways, they asked me to come on board and talk about strength training, specifically kind of unconventional strength training. And we hashed around a little bit, and the title came out as Unconventional Training for Conventional Results. So digging into that, it was a really interesting call, and there were some really cool points made, and kind of bits and pieces attached to that call and things that we spoke about. And this kind of leads into, oh, I've got hiccups. Apparently I drank coffee too quickly. This kind of leads into going back into gyms and training and what you're going to be doing and what might be beneficial and what's going to be a little bit different, what's going to inspire you, that sort of stuff. And the kind of unconventional training, meaning things that aren't squat, bench, deadlift, bicep curl. Caveat, do not under any circumstances neglect your bicep curls. They're a key functional movement.
They are functional.
Get them in. It's the only functional movement I will allow. That's it. That's that caveat. I'll make that very clear. Do not neglect your bicep curls. There you go. We'll move on. So the kind of unconventional things might be, you could probably just embody the whole of strongman sport into unconventional. So like, granted, not many gyms have yokes and atlas stones and things like that. But there's things and ways you could train and play with different things to get you moving differently. So, what I'm trying to say is take yourself away from sagittal plane to like forwards and back movement, like go sideways, turn a corner, like go, like bend, move, twist, rotate, that kind of thing. Get as much movement as you possibly can into every movement. And we spent a good 15, 20 minutes on this call last night just talking about deadlift variations. I think it's really important that people do add variety to a movement. So deadlift is pick up a bar to your hips. The standard height deadlift bar is 9 inches from the floor when you've got bumper plates on it. So you pick up a bar from 9 inches from the floor and you pick it up to your hips. That's your deadlift. And then to improve that lift, typically you just do more deadlifts. But then you look at skill acquisition and how you would acquire skill, and it becomes an absolute minefield of movements. So yes, doing more deadlifts will make you better at deadlifts, but why don't you pick the bar up from the side? Or why don't you lower it down and sort of twist 45 degrees to the side? Why don't you offset the load on the bar? So you might have a 20 kilo plate on one side of the bar and a 15 kilo plate on the other side of the bar. And you challenge that a little bit more. Do it on one leg. So you've got single leg RDL, stagger your feet, different hand grips, wide grip, narrow grip, that sort of stuff. Go from different heights. So deadlift from a deficit, deadlift from a rack. All these different movements and different variables for a lift are going to help you improve those lifts. So that's from a kind of performance and skill acquisition point. Going back to looping back to my original point then of going back into the gym and just starting to move. I think it's really important that you add as many variables to your training as possible straight off the bat. Because we've all been sat on our asses for the best part of a year with a small little lump in the middle where we're allowed to go out and play again. And you're going to go back into the gym and the temptation is going to be just to go through and hammer everything. And that's fine. If you've had kit and you've been training and you've kept it all up and you've been consistent with it, but I don't know many people that have. Even people that have borrowed some of my kit, I know it's been sat in their garage for the last month. And it might have been used twice. And that's cool. That's just a motivation thing. Training on your own is fucking hard. But when you go back into a gym, play with stuff. Move. Fucking move. Like, don't be afraid to move sort of off the beaten track. Like, if you're used to a squat and you have your feet under your hips and your hands are set and you move straight down and then straight back up again, like, stagger your feet a little bit. Try a different foot grip. Try different width hands on the bar. Like, various bits like that. Turn it in a circle. Like, sort of squat down over one heel. Move around with little bits and just see how that feels. And I think that's going to help you get back into the gym, and you're going to sort of reap the rewards of that a lot quicker than you would do if you just sort of went in with no real plan and hammered straight through generic exercises. I had a point to tell on that, and I've completely forgotten what it was. I went on a tangent in my own head and I've lost it. But yeah, so this is one of the things we were talking about on that call last night, was skill development and moving around for things, and traditional bullshit that surrounds the industry of you must do these and anything else is going to break your back. Fucking ain't. Like, your back is really robust. Like, it really is. You do a hard job to bust it by turning in a circle or like squatting with a slight round. Like, if we're talking maximal effort, like, you show me any world record where the form was 10 out of 10. It ain't. It don't exist. Like, world record attempts are fucking gnarly. Like, they look horrible and they probably feel horrible because it's a world record. Like, it's RPE 11.
Yeah.
And like, no one's done it with beautiful form. No one's done a world record deadlift where their back was perfectly straight and they kept the bar nice and they moved it all through smooth motions. Motion is movement and motion in the same word. So there you go. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't worry too much about your form when you go back to the gym. Just fucking move. Like, put a little bit of weight onto things, move around so you feel good, build back into it. Just have fun with your training. That was a very long-winded way of saying have fun with your training, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that. But it was an interesting call. So again, answer on a postcard. What's your first training session when you go back to the gym? What are you doing? Like, actually, what are you going to be doing? What's your session back? What are you looking forward to doing the most when you're back in? Apart from bicep curls, obviously.
Just curls, mate. Genuine. 45 minutes. There'll be easy bar curls. There'll be straight bar curls. There'll be hammer curls, dumbbell curls, rope hammer curls. Oh,
all sorts. Mate, I'm going to send you an arm blaster.
Please do.
I'm going to send you an arm blaster, and I'm going to get you doing... I can't remember what they're called. There's a word for it. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody put their name to a set of curls. You have dumbbells, and you curl up, and then you turn your wrists, and then you go down again.
Not a Jefferson curl, is it?
Nah. Jefferson's a squat. Jefferson's where you straddle the bar and pick it up like a deadlift. God, that's going to annoy me. We'll come to it. I think you'll Google it. If anyone gets this before we get it.
I can't think.
But there's a thing. There's a name of a curl. But yeah, 45 minutes of curl. Oh my God, mate.
My arm's going to be so big by the end of that session. So big.
Pump!
But no, seriously, it will be some sort of upper body thing, I think, because at the moment, all I'm doing is running. So I run 2 or 3 times a week, which I'm actually starting to enjoy now, which is weird.
Oh, God. No, come back.
It hurts. It does hurt. I don't know. I think I'm just enjoying getting my heart rate up, which is what's making me miss the gym.
Yeah, I get that.
And the thing about the gym is you can do it 5 days a week, whereas running, I can't tolerate more than 3 runs a week, really. My DOM's too bad. I'm not very built for running. A bit too heavy, particularly lockdown me is a bit too heavy. And so I just get sore quite quickly, and it's very hilly around Bristol as well. So I can't get my heart rate up more than 3 times a week doing something I want to do. So that's what I'm missing about the gym. So any sort of session, which will be pretty high volume and just hurts a bit, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I like that. I think Joe Wicks is quite good for getting your heart rate up if you're into that.
Yeah, anyway, mate, it's time for me to go.
Bye!
And it'll probably be total body, actually. If I was going to be sensible about it, it'll probably be a total body session.
We're not going to be sensible about it.
All right, well, it'll be arms then.
No one's going to be sensible.
Fine.
No one. I've just been on that whole spiel about, like, go easy when you get back to the gym, play with movement, ease back into it. And literally everyone went, shut up.
Yeah.
I feel like
I did it, and I was facing you at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And you stuck your middle finger up at one point.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
But there's, I feel like I went through that, and like the professional side of it, I'm going to put my cap on, which is coach, professional Charlie. And it says, don't be a dickhead when you go back to the gym. And then I'll take that cap off and I go and train my mates. And we go, should we max out deadlift? Like,
yeah,
fuck yeah, let's do that. That's a great idea. What could possibly go wrong? Ultimately, and here's a word we haven't said for a while. I think it depends.
probably.
Yeah. It depends on your level of training, what you've done before, what you fancy doing, how you feel on the day, what you've been doing currently, how you're like. There's so many factors that are going to affect what you do in the gym. I think the kind of the tail off point to make on that is listen to your body, which sounds really twee, but like if you do anything and it feels a bit shitty, maybe don't do that thing. Like go do something else. And like try and work out why it feels shitty and then fix the shitty. I think that's a thing.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, it's definitely starting to impact people. And like my Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApps and everything else blew up yesterday after this announcement, with people just kind of going, right, we've got another 6-7 weeks. Like, I've always going to be doing this. Can I come and play? Can I book a session? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I feel like now there's a kind of light at the end of the tunnel. People are really starting to chomp at the bit and say, right, we need to do stuff. We want to do some bits and pieces. And there's a few competitions that people are entering now, and there's people starting to sort of put things out. And there's little kind of things to look forward to, which I think is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Really important. You need something to look forward to, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, for you, that is taking my squat rack to do bicep curls.
Oh, yeah. Especially if someone else wants to use it for what it's actually built for. Like if
It's
someone's
like,
waiting to squat.
I think I would genuinely just come put you on my shoulders and squat you whilst you did bicep curls.
Yeah, that'd be functional.
That would be really functional. For like, I mean, like I said, I've got a kid, man. I've got to practice piggybacks. And that might be a thing. There you go. Yeah. Piggyback training.
Yeah, because my load's not evenly distributed, which makes it functional.
Yeah, correct.
So
that's it. And then if we put you on a Bosu ball, man, functional overload right there.
Starting to look a bit like a boasted ball actually at the moment.
I don't like a Bosu ball if I lay down.
Yeah.
I got that kind of, that little hump. It's,
Which I am most of the time, laying down. This is when I'm trying to sit up a bit.
I feel like you've just sat up to have this call.
I'm literally like, oh, fuck, it's 1:30 on a Tuesday, I best sit up. And then get myself ready for it.
Just sort of like, just raise up. Pump, as soon as the call's finished, you lay back down again. Like you're actually just sat on the edge of your bed.
I have to lie down wash on the bathroom floor. It's easy, I just sort of sweep my way over from the bedroom into the ensuite.
I'm just going to soak the patio and roll around outside.
Yeah.
That's me. Because then I feel like I'm rolling and that's exercise.
Yeah, functional.
Correct.
Our ancestors used to roll.
They used to roll everywhere.
Probably paleo.
Yes, snap.
Yeah.
Oh, paleo. What even is that? Is paleo still a thing? Are people still eating paleo?
I hear a lot of people, so, and I don't know if this is just me and who I follow, but I see some nutritionists go, oh, like, you don't need to follow paleo, you can do this. And I just think, I haven't seen people talk about paleo in so long, but then I imagine that people still do. Maybe I think that's the thing, I curate my social media so that I don't see things like that. Yeah. And I don't think, so in the same way that there's a lot of things that people are like, oh, this is awful, like detoxes that celebrities are doing. I just go, well, I don't follow celebrities, so I actually don't know that all of this is going on. But I imagine paleo is the thing. Like carnivore became quite a big thing, didn't it? And that's sort of it's a little sidestep from paleo, isn't it? So
I feel like carnivore harks back to Atkins, which literally killed people.
Yeah, maybe it's like a little triangle of like Atkins, paleo, carnivore.
Bermuda.
Yeah, Bermuda Triangle, where people get
disappear into it and then never
common sense loses. They get it lost in the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, maybe
into the diet triangle. Oh man, but yeah, celebrity detoxes are a thing, man. They're a real thing.
I hear that.
And I don't know what's happened on my social media, but all the sponsors' adverts are coming up with things like that. I don't know what happened. I'm not a fan, but every now and again, I'll just like, you know, when your alarm goes off in the morning and you have that little sort of 10 minutes where you're trying to refocus yourself and you're scrolling Instagram, and all of a sudden a fucking advert for like Boom Bod comes up. Yeah. You're like, oh, now I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Like that. So like, just to be absolutely clear, here's education again. Let's go serious. So if you own at least one kidney and a liver, you're really fucking good at detoxing. You do it yourself. Most people own 2 kidneys, so you're like amazing at it. All you really need to do is drink a bit of water. That's it. Done.
Very much. And if you don't have those things, then you shouldn't be seeking your medical advice from celebrities.
Correct.
Like if you think, oh, I'm on dialysis or I've got like kidney failure.
I wonder what Stacey Solomon's doing.
Yeah, literally. Like not using a brain, I know that. The only celebrity detox you should do is getting celebrities off your social media. That's my opinion, because I cannot stand the vast majority of celebrities.
I feel like celebrities are I feel like such a weird word. Like, what does it even mean? So like, I always hark back to a couple of years ago at Body Power. I went there, and I can't remember if I told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again anyway, because it kind of, I like the story, but it annoys me. Went to Body Power and barreling around, and all of a sudden just walked past. I was with my friend Jay, and we were walking along, and I stopped dead in my tracks because Dmitry Klokov was just chilling. Now, if you're unaware of Dmitry Klokov, he is to weightlifting what Arnold Schwarzenegger is to bodybuilding. He is probably the reason I got into weightlifting. Like, he's just fucking excellent. He had multiple Olympic, World Championship medals, like records, you name it. The guy was just a machine. And he retired, and he's still immense. And he was just there chilling. I think he was on his phone, like on a stand at Body Power, selling like Klokov equipment and t-shirts and shit. I wandered up to him, and like my inner 3-year-old fanboy come roaring to the surface. And I think I literally walked up to him and went, "You're Dmitry Klokov." And he went, "Yes." that was kind of it. And I'm like, "This is amazing. Can I have a picture?" And I was sort of chatting away to him. I told him, you know, the things that you tell your heroes. And it's like, "You're one of the reasons I got into weightlifting." And he had a bar and some plates set up. And he went, "Cool, show me." And I'm like, fuck. So that. But anyways, had like a good 15-minute chat with this guy, 20-minute chat with him, and did some bits and pieces, and that was awesome. I got a picture, bought a t-shirt, and off I went, like with a little skip in my step, thinking, like, I could die now. That's amazing. the stand next to his stand had a queue snaking around the building to get your picture taken with a dude that was on Love Island. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to my industry? Like, where did it go wrong? Where this guy, you could just walk up to him because he's on his phone, and he's done amazing stuff for a really quite a niche sport, but like amazing things for a sport, and inspired so many people and done genuinely amazing things. But you're more concerned about seeing the dude that looks good in Speedos. I'll say that, looks good in board shorts. No one looks good in Speedos.
No.
But like, how did it come to that? And that's the thing, like the dude from Love Island could advertise Boom Bod and people would go fucking mad for it. And oh God, stop it. Like this whole celebrity thing, it's gone too far. Like fucking stop it. Pick your heroes wisely. Like, oh, I don't understand it. That's my gripe.
Yeah, I don't really have many. No, I have people that I admire that have done things, but yeah, I still don't have that level of admiration for them. I understand yours. Like, I understand people that were inspired by someone to go and do something, but I don't personally. Maybe I just don't have that sort of hobby where I idolize the person that's doing it. So, like, if I think all the things that I do, like obviously my work in terms of nutrition, any other hobbies I have. Like, there were a few sports where I'm like, actually, he's pretty cool. Like, the stuff he's achieved is ridiculous. But for me, it always comes down to, like, does he come across like a nice bloke as well?
Yeah.
There are loads of people that are, like, unbelievable athletes and stuff, and I just think you're a prick.
Yeah.
Or you come across like a prick.
There's a few.
Or, yeah, interviews make you seem like you are a prick. So, yeah, I think you have to have achieved something for me to even care.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't name any people off Love Island apart from one, who is Chris Williamson.
Never heard of her.
He has a podcast called Modern Wisdom.
Okay.
Hands down, the best podcast you'll ever listen to.
Okay. Well, I mean, second best.
No. Like, we just chat shit. His is genuine. But like, he just gets guests on that he thinks are interesting and just chats about cool stuff that they do.
That's kind of cool.
And he makes the point that, like, Love Island, there are some seriously, like, intelligent or able people that go on it. People, like, don't give a shit about that. They just give a shit about the fact that
they're pretty.
He's there with his kit off, yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad. Like, intelligence and stuff has taken a backseat to, like, Instagram.
Yeah.
Just fucking sad, man. And like, this is why I do badly on Instagram, because I'm intelligent, but I look like a troll.
Yeah.
So that's why I do strength sports. Like,
yeah,
it's really easy to sell me as a strength coach. Like, if you look like you crawled out from under a bridge, you could probably teach someone to pick heavy shit up.
Yeah.
It's kind of that.
My issue with Instagram is that I'm way too pretty that no one appreciates how clever I am.
You're really pretty, to be fair. It's like the other day, man. Like, I'm going to call you out on this. The other day when you put, like, it's not the gyms or the pubs or the people that you miss, it's the barbers. And you put up a beautiful picture of, like, and like that sort of thing. I'm like, dude, pack it in, man. Like, I'm over here with this attached to my face and you're worried about your hair.
You can do something about that.
I could cut it off.
Yeah, you could. I can't shave this.
If I cut my beard off, I look like a thumb with two thumbs.
Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't be allowed near a primary school within like 2 miles. They shake my head
anymore.
Like, all my mates are like, "Oh, why don't you shave your head? We did." And I'm like, "So I'm a haircut away from looking great. You are literally months from not looking like a paedophile."
Yeah, that.
So,
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, because famously all nonces are bald.
Fact.
But not.
I watched a program yesterday with my missus because she likes that sort. Not paedophiles, but she likes.
I was going to say, I'm glad to clarify that.
And apparently, it's called something like Undercover Police and Not Britain's Top Nonces or something. I think I called it that. But Undercover Police, and it's like people say, "Oh, you shouldn't stereotype them," but they do all look like you're stereotypical.
Of course they do. Like, I'm a real big believer that, like, stereotypes exist for a reason, which is a terrible attitude to take. I'm very aware of that.
Yeah,
but like, there are stereotypes for a reason, man. Like, that's such a bad attitude to have, I know, but they're there. They're there. I'm just saying. Don't at me. Awesome, man. I feel like that comes to a fairly abrupt end to this podcast. Thank you for getting this far if you have been listening and listening to us waffle. I hope you've enjoyed us moaning about things as much as we've enjoyed moaning about the things.
Yeah.
From next week, we'll have more educational content, I'm sure, but I felt like it was just a nice air some bullshit, talk about bits that are coming up, and to sort of get back onto things and have a little natter. A little bit of a catch up, harmless, non-offensive ear listening.
Maybe we'll have a plan of what we're actually going to talk about in the future.
Maybe we'll have a plan. Maybe. I don't know. I
Maybe we'll
like
talk about snorting double cream again. Who knows?
maybe. Yeah, I genuinely want to know the answer to that. If someone knows where double cream would go if you snorted it, do let me know. Would you just end up spitting it out? Would you end up digesting it? What would happen?
Who goes? What happens when you sniff things?
What happens when you...
The truth about snorting drugs is number 1.
Awesome.
Why snorting powders is a bad idea. Number 2. Well, that's my afternoon sorted.
Awesome. I hope that's on your next email.
Yes.
There you go. And that leads us nicely into, if you want help from us, here's what we can do for you. If you just want to listen to us chat shit on this podcast once a week, then you can switch off now, because we're going to actually be sensible and tell you.
Also reevaluate your life. If that is
also seriously reevaluate. Yeah, like if you're just listening to this because it gets you out on a walk for a bit and it distracts you from whatever the fuck is going on the back of your head, best, like, more power to you. Like, good luck. Maybe seek professional help.
Probably.
If you enjoy it for what it is, which is just light-hearted nonsense, great. If you're hoping for something educational from this, like, let us know what you want to know. And we'll try our best to educate.
Yeah.
But on the subject of Charlie's emails about cat piss and ambulance drivers, Charlie runs is it 2 a week you run out?
Yeah, Tuesday and a Friday.
There you go. He answered that. So he puts emails out Tuesdays and Fridays, and they're actually quite good. Like, sometimes you learn stuff, sometimes you learn about his cat being a dick.
Yeah, she is, but she's old now.
Oh,
they sometimes are amusing. What was today's subject?
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, it's good.
A really busy day.
It was. Now I can do the weird shit my husband is into.
There you go. Your husband. I didn't know you were married.
Well, there's a lot you don't know about me, Charlie.
Amazing. I'm intrigued. We're going to carry on this conversation after recording. Which I'm secretly. Oh, God, I can't talk. Right, we need to wrap up. So subscribe to Charlie's emails. They're actually pretty good. And you can hear about tales of his husband and his pissing cat. So that's the thing. On Instagram, he is at cbnutrition_. I am at Night Strength or at Redbeard Barbell Club. At Redbeard Barbell Club is more just nonsense about the club and videos of PBs and people dropping bars and things and whatever else have you. At Night Strength is a little bit more coachy, which I think is the correct adjective. So depending on what you want, lighthearted banter or actual information, either one you're not going to get from my Instagrams. So if you want information, drop us a message. If you want help with coaching, that's me. If you want help with nutrition stuff, that's him. That's about it. Until next time, friends.
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't snort double cream.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right, on that. Thanks again, and I will see you in a week.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.